Hello, everybody, and welcome back to season 25. Here we are for round three around Hungary, and of course, joined alongside me in the commentary box is none other than my teammate and my commentary partner in crime, Colin.
Evening, Nick. Evening, all. I'm looking forward to this one. Uh, this one, I think, is going to be a complete lottery.
Yes, lots to play for here. Two different runners from the first two rounds so far this season. Pawsey makes his return after missing the first couple of races of this season. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. So yeah, lots to look out for in terms of the drivers. But Cole, just run us through what weather forecast we have for today's race.
Now, this is where it gets interesting. So, for the people who don't know, we utilize a dynamic weathering system. So we don't just chuck it on dynamic. We have various weather scenarios that we use throughout the season. And then once that weather scenario has been used, we cross it off, and then that won't be used then. So the weather for today's qualifying session will be heavy rain to clear. So there's a good chance that at the end of the qualifying session, it could go dry. But don't forget, we do put it on approximate. So for the drivers who've already practiced this, there's no guarantee that that specific lap that they experienced the dry weather before, will it be the same this time?
Yeah, definitely. I think tonight is all about being able to deal with what the game throws at you in terms of the weather. So it's heavy rain to start with, as Colin mentioned, and then it will go to light clouds. So as and when it'll be dry enough to run slicks, as we're seeing Spencer's deciding to go straight out. I wondered this earlier, Colin, actually, whether the drivers would risk going out. Of course, by going out, you do risk, you know, putting it in the wall or having an incident where you then won't be able to run on the dry track later on in the session.
Well, yeah, this is the thing. It's a big risk, really. You know, they know that the track's going to improve. And I am surprised to see any drivers out there because, like you said, there's not really any reward. There's only risk. So you could lose it, hit the wall, lose your tyre, and then that's you done for that session. So I'm surprised to see so many drivers. Well, I say so many. How many have we got? Spencer, Ghost, and Lawrence out on track at the minute.
Yeah, so three drivers, and of course Spencer, one on track in round one, but didn't do the mandatory two stops, so was disqualified. Didn't win on track in round two, but did inherit the win after Lawrence was penalised for an incident by the stewards. So Spencer finally getting his first win of the season after showing promising pace in the opening two rounds. But what will Hungary throw? A technical track, a bit like a big go-kart track, in my opinion. I thoroughly enjoy driving the car around here, particularly on the qualifying lap when the car is just planted. But as you said, four drivers out on track now who want to get a feel of these wet weather conditions. And have you done much wet running on this game, Colin?
I've done a little bit, but not a lot. I actually find it a little bit easier on throttle than the last game. It's a little bit more traction at the back, but still very, very difficult. Very easy to lose it. Under braking is the real difficult bit in the rain. As you can see, Spencer down there having a bit of a wobble. We got Quinn as well out as well. So we got, how many drivers have got now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, what's interesting is Lawrence is going out on the intermediate tyres.
Yeah, so he's obviously felt that he wants to give those a go in what I would presume is wet weather tyres, just by the conditions that we can see on screen. But obviously the drivers have more information available, but you can see Lawrence sliding it through some of these corners. I mean, it will come to him as the session dries up, but it's just a case of whether he'll be able to keep it on track. Is it worth is it worth the risk, Cole? Here, as you said, but no engine penalties here, by the way, for this weekend's race. Of course, all drivers have to change their engine at least once, and then we'll start from the back of the grid. No, sorry, 10 place grid penalty. Back of the grid last season. This season is now a 10 place grid penalty.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised not to see any grid penalties here. I know it's very difficult to overtake, but it's a very twisty track. The walls are very, very close, which means there's a good chance of a safety car. So, yeah, I thought at least one driver might have risked taking an engine pen here, but that none of the drivers decided now is the right time for them.
No, and obviously I think ERS and the management of ERS is going to be really key around today's race. I think particularly corner exit onto that final straight is ever so important if you want to, overtake or defend. That's kind of where it's won and lost here. This Proverb has a nice fishy tail as he exits the last corner. Posts a lap time of a 32.6. The Mercedes man. But yeah, it's all about that last corner, Colin. Can you get a good exit? If you can, then you'll have chance into turn one. But if the drivers are using ERS on the exit there into overtake, it is extremely difficult to try and gain an advantage, particularly if you're in the DRS trim.
Yeah, that's right. Track limits around here can be quite difficult, especially the very fast turn 4 left-hander. That's quite easy to invalidate around that corner. Something that the drivers are going to have to be a little bit careful of. Spencer Brown puts in a 30.017. So far, 2.5 seconds quicker than anyone else has managed to achieve. That's quite an impressive lap on the wets there.
Yeah, J.R. Mason's done an out lap on his intermediate tyres, and he's already heading back to the pits. So I'm not sure if he had a moment or if that was part of the plan for J.R. Mason. Of course, last week's pole sitter, his maiden pole in One Hub Racing. But yeah, lots of interesting thoughts going on ahead of today's race on the media day side of things. Starting to get some rivalries, perhaps. We saw quite a few incidents last week, Cole, in the race in Monza. M125, who obviously we praised last season for his ability to make his way through the field and overtaking, defending, but found himself with a few penalties.
Yes, this is obviously the danger of racing. It's, you do get the odd penalty now and again. It's unfortunate for that driver, but I'm sure they'll learn from it. That's the whole point of these penalties and such. It's not really it's not just about punishment. It's about educating the drivers and making the league and the tier cleaner, and therefore better racing, and therefore more fun.
Yeah, definitely. The rules are there to be respected, but sometimes, and everyone oversteps the mark sometimes. That's part of racing. Non-contact sport, of course, but you will always get a little bit of contact here and there. We don't mind a little bit of argy-bargy, providing it's within the limits. But just on board with Jamie here, he's got a couple cars behind him and in front of him, and you'll see the difficulty some of these drivers have during the braking zone in these wet weather conditions. So Jamie on these medium compound tyres, he'll be hoping for a good result today after having to leave the race early last week as he had to go to hospital on the Monday. So he was doing some pre stuff on the Sunday, and he couldn't quite manage to finish the race. But some of these cars absolutely sliding the rear of their car through the chicane.
Oh yeah, they really are pushing it, aren't they? Yeah, all credit to Jamie. Last week he was quite uncomfortable during the race, was in quite a lot of pain and discomfort, and pushed through and did his best, not only for himself but for his teammate Jess as well, which was great to see. So I'm really hoping that Jamie has a good result tonight?
So 9.5 minutes left in this qualifying session. Still got eight drivers who haven't set a lap time. As Jamie's just about to do so, so he'll pop up into second place, just ahead of Lawrence. So that's now 9 drivers who have set a competitive lap time. Of course, this is going to be constant changing conditions. We're seeing JR Mason just starting his lap as Lawrence now goes quickest, 1.4 seconds quicker than the best time so far of Spencer, who's currently in the pit lane. So you're seeing now, Colt, the weather changing from the wet weather tyres to the intermediates, and then you're going to further see an improvement later on in the session, we expect, into the dry conditions. But how many laps they'll get on those dries, it remains to be seen, as Jeremy Mason sets the fastest first sector of anybody so far here tonight.
Yeah, you can see now that it's intermediate conditions. Whether there's enough time left for it to go on to slicks, I don't know. And of course, DRS as well. You know, how late are these drivers going to leave it? You know, we've seen it in Formula One in the past where drivers have left it so late to go out of the box to start their final lap that they haven't actually crossed the line with any time to spare, and therefore didn't set a lap time. So the drivers are going to have to be a little bit wary of that as well. You know, they want to go out as late as possible because they know that the weather's going to be improving, but they can't leave it too late.
No, definitely not. If you miss that chance, you want to be last out on track, but at the same time, as J.R. Mason slipped into second with a 29.8, he had a lot of traffic on that lap as well, as Lawrence goes even quicker with a 26.6. You want to be that last driver out on track, but you also, as Colin said, have to be mindful that you need to cross the line as Matthias dips the wheel on the grass to take avoiding action, letting all the cars go. Currently in 4th position on those wet weather compound tyres, and now everyone's out on lap now, Cole, so everyone's going to be setting a lap time in the rain, which I'm a little bit surprised at. I thought you might just see some drivers just stay in, because the conditions are only going to get better and better as Skrillex goes up into 2nd position. It's an Alpine 1-2 at the moment.
Yeah, look at that for the Alpines. Yeah, Skrillex unfortunately had a 20-second time penalty in the last race for an incident under the safety car. So that'll be something that he'll be on his mind now when he, if there's a safety car later on in the race. That's going to be something he's going to be a little bit wary of. Nothing malicious, just a bit of a mistake that unfortunately ended OKK's race. But look at that lap from Lawrence. That's a second quicker than M125.
Exactly a
it's
second.
So difficult to judge at the minute. Yeah, exactly the second. It's quite difficult to judge at the minute because you don't know, how hard are these drivers pushing? They know it's going to dry up. So are they just trying to get a little bit of rust off? It's very difficult to tell. I don't think we're really going to see anyone push until about 5 minutes to go, to be honest.
Yes, I think you're right. It's difficult as well.
Sorry to interrupt. We have our first soft runner out. So we got Rage on the soft tyre. So Rage Man is giving it a go.
He's just come into the pit lane and hit the inside wall. So it's not time. It's not time yet.
So Rage tried it and obviously now thinks, nope, that wasn't a good idea. Now, is he simply going to wait a bit longer, or is he going to go back out on intermediates? We're going to have to wait and see. And Mason's on the soft tyres as well.
Some risky strategies, I have to say. Obviously, Mason hasn't left the pits yet, as Spencer does a 25.5 on those intermediate tyres. So you're just going to keep seeing these times tumble. Of course, we expect pole to be down perhaps 115s, 116, something like that, pole. If it was normal dry conditions, as Ghost pops it up into 3rd position. Some of these drivers doing multiple laps on these tyres, one after the other. So that suggests a bit more fuel in the car as well. Rageman is back in the pits, and he's the only driver yet to set a lap time in this session.
So M125 and Mason have played their cards here, really. So you can see that they're in the pit lane, same as Jess now. So they've put the soft tyres on. They're not leaving the garage yet. They are waiting till the very last minute to go out and set a time. So this is going to be very interesting. Same as Shelby, M125, Jess and Mason now. So they're gonna try their luck on the soft tyres towards the end. But Nick, it's still raining. With 4 minutes to go, it's still raining.
It is still raining, and not only that, you risk the fact that as Jamie is 2.3 seconds quicker, that's what it showed on his split there, but will he come into the pits? The problem is, Cole, if you go out on those soft tyres and it doesn't dry up, you're going to be starting way down the order, because anyone who's out on those inters will improve right to the last second. But likewise, if you're out on those softs and everyone else, is on the intermediates, and it does improve, even if it's just for half a lap, Colin, you can gain so much time.
That's right, and don't forget, if it does dry up right at the end, there's a chance that DRS will be enabled, and that is just a heap of time that you're going to gain. Now, Matthias, I'm pretty certain now Matthias is not going to be able to go out again. So this is going to be his final run. There's 3 minutes left.
He'll get more than one run, but you're right. And it stopped raining. So Rage has also committed to the same strategy that Matthias has. And he is heading down to turn 1. He's on these intermediates. So Rage will get this lap and one more if he's fuel for enough. Obviously, Matthias is a second quicker in the first sector already. We're seeing outlaps from Salou, who's on inters, so he's committed to the inter strategy. Mason is the first driver to commit to the soft compounded tyres with 2.5 minutes to go here as he lets the Mercedes man through. That will be Proverb, who is also committed, Cole, to inters. So far, we've only got JR Mason. Quinn's come out on inters as well, so JR Mason pulled the plug early here.
He has, and I tell you what, it's very slippy. I was looking at him on board, and every time he put the throttle down, he looked at the throttle and he had oversteer. So he's going to have to push relatively hard now, because he's got to get heat in those tyres. If he doesn't get heat in the tyres, he is not going to have any grip at all.
As Matthias pumps it in at 25.6. Sorry, Cole. Ghost, I can confirm, has committed to the intermediate tyres. Quinn's committed to the intermediate tyres. Shelby, he's joined JR Mason, and he's gone out on those soft compounded tyres. So who else do we have on the soft compound? Jess is committed to inters. Jess is committed to inters here, as Rageman goes quickest on a set of inters. These lap times are going to come tumbling down. There's no way we're going to keep track of it all. As DRS is now enabled.
DRS enabled, look at that. But look at the strategy people are doing. It's so split. You've got roughly half, well, probably more than half the grid, I think, looking at that. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only 6 drivers have decided to go for the inters. That I'm quite, for the soft, sorry. I'm quite surprised at that. So let's see now. So Quinn is just put in a 27.742. He will have time for another run. So has he saved? Yeah, he's got quite a lot of ERS left, to be fair. He's got 80%. So
JL Mason's flying.
Well.
He's sorry, Cole. He's going to be your dad's going to be the first soft runner to complete his lap. He's 2.1 seconds quicker in the first sector alone. Why have the Red Bulls split their strategy? Jess is on intermediate tyres, and she is going to struggle here. Jamie is just starting his lap as Matthias goes for 123.5 on intermediates. What did Spencer go for? Spencer's on inters.
That's really surprising. I do think now that it's, the drivers now who've gone on softs, I think that they've made the perfect decision. Mason is 6.7 seconds up on his PB, so that puts him at a low 23 at the minute. Still not as quick as Salo, but this is going to be his only run. He's not left enough time to do another run, so this is going to be it. What's his time going to be? 17, 18, 19, and 19 flat. Look at that. Spencer Brown, a 19.6 on the inters. That's a very good lap from Spencer there.
Yeah, could JR Mason be set to set his second pole? Well, Jamie's already on a 120. without completing the final sector on these soft compound tires. So Jamie's going to go to the top of the timesheets. What about Shelby? He's also on softs. I know that. There's a few others. As Colin mentioned, 6 in total. Jamie gets very close to the barrier there as he slams the exit. This is going to go pole position. It's a 1:16.5 for Jamie.
Look at that! Wow! So the top two are on softs, pumping in the times. I think Mason would be quite disappointed with that lap there. Oh, we got a car in the wall. I'm just trying to look. It's Matthias. Matthias is in the wall on those inters. This is a problem. This is now pure slick traffic now.
Cowboy's made a mistake because he's going to come across the line.
Funky pole.
Anyone else? Here comes Lawrence. And he goes pole.
With a 15.7, that's a very, very good lap time, actually. Matthias now wandering around with no front wing, so he is not going to improve at all. So Spencer Brown at the moment. Who else have we got?
That's left? It, Cole. That's the session finished, I think.
That is it.
So last week's winner on track.
That is insane. I mean, so we got the top 4 drivers on the soft compounder tyre. 5th down to 13th, deciding on the intermediate tyre. Shelby and Cowboy did complete a lap on the softs, but I don't know whether they run out of time to complete the flying lap or not. But they're down in 14th and 16th. Disastrous qualifying there from Cowboy. Obviously, the race winner out in Austria in round 1, so he won't be very happy with that position. But the one that surprises me is Jess deciding not to do a soft run, Nick.
I've got some info on this, Cole. So a couple drivers are reporting that they selected the soft tyre, but the game still sent them out on intermediates. So was Jess one of those who perhaps...
One of the things that I do know you've got to be careful of is if it's raining and the game is telling you, really speaking, inters is the right tyre at the minute. If you press the soft tyre, there's an option that comes up. And you've got to say, I'm going to ignore what the team are telling me. So I don't know whether some of the drivers accidentally selected the option to switch to the recommended compound, or whether the game glitched for them. But that we'll have to wait and see and find out later on. But what a mixed up grid we got, Nick.
Yeah, and it's going to be a dry race. But of course, the race that's just about to start will be void. We will go back to the lobby and create a new lobby. We are doing that new every race for this season, so that drivers can take grid penalties. But also, obviously, everyone will start with a fresh batch of tyres, which are going to be interesting here. Tyres don't last the longest around this track, particularly that soft compound. But yeah, I think perhaps for JR Mason, Cole, he just went out slightly too early, and the first sector might have just still been a little bit damp. And that's where he lost his time. We saw we saw the driver who crossed the line last stole pole position. So just remember, these drivers need to retire by the first sector split. Otherwise, they will incur a penalty. That's new for this season, but we'll give them all a practice start. I'm sure some of them will have some fun. Destroying parts of their car. You see the Ferrari there heading into the wall. You see a car going up in the air, the other Ferrari.
The safety car come out. I like it.
And that was pretty quick.
And everyone retires. Well done, drivers.
Yes, so we will load back into the lobby. The tier coordinators will set the grid from qualifying, so we'll run through the grid. We didn't do it at the end of that session, so we'll run through it before the start of the race, and then it'll be down to the drivers to select what strategy they're going to go for. Remember, Cole, that if you want two hards, you have to select the harder strategy, and if you want two mediums, you have to select balanced. So drivers will, I imagine, be committing to what strategy they're going to run before they even get to the grid.
I would have thought so, yeah. I wonder whether any drivers are going to, be in two minds and change their mind at the last minute due to their qualifying position. Cowboy comes to mind. Now, will Cowboy risk maybe going on the softs at the start to get a good start, gain a couple of places, and then box early to get some undercut? That we'll have to wait and see. But if I go through the qualifying results, so we've got Lawrence, who got a pole position, last week's race winner, crossing the line, but unfortunately got a post-race penalty. In second place, we have Funky. Third place, Jamie in the Red Bull. Fourth place, Mason in the Aston Martin. Then we have Spencer Brown, last week's race winner. In sixth place, Jess. In seventh place, M125. Then we have Ghost, Sallow, Rageman, Quinn, Proverb, Matthias, and Shelby in 14th. 15th, we have Skrillex. And at the back of the grid in the Ferrari is Cowboy.
Interestingly, Cole. Sorry, I was just going to say, Shelby, who I called Pawsy earlier on the stream. That's what I call him in real life. Both Shelby and Cowboy were two of the drivers who selected the soft compound, but are starting 14th and 16th. So they must have really ruined their lap some point during it that we didn't see. But fair play to Jess as well for getting sixth place on those intermediate tyres.
Yeah, that was a great lap. You know, out qualifying M125 on the inters is no mean feat. I think Jess, looking at that, might be a bit disappointed that there's not a little bit more rain in the race. So the race weather is, I've forgotten what it is. I know it's dry. I think it's overcast.
Light clouds and overcast. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So will that affect some of the tyre temperatures? Could do. Might not get so much heat in as if it was bright sunshine. The track temperature will be a little bit lower. I think it's going to be very interesting. There's quite a lot of drivers out of position now.
Yeah, a couple of comments in the stream to say that there are a few drivers out of position and not the easiest track to overtake on. But will we see safety cars? Who will that hinder? Who will that help? But just to confirm, Cole, the race is light cloud to overcast to clear. So you will get some different conditions. It perhaps will look like it's going to rain, and it is approximate. So I don't know whether if it's set to overcast, whether you'd actually get any rain. Because light rain
I have experienced it. I have experienced it myself in a league race where it's overcast. Said there's no rain, but rain did appear. So it's not out of the realms of possibility that we could get a little bit of rain.
Yeah, well, we will see, and I imagine all drivers will commit to the dry setup. Of course, they must remember to load their setup after we get back into the lobby. And then we'll be waiting to see who starts on what tyre, which I'm looking forward to finding out. But Cole, shall we perhaps do the sponsors now? Shall I do the honours of running through all of the gang that help the league and help us offer what we offer here tonight, and have been doing so for 25 seasons now. So SimGrid, we run all our championships through their community. Over 30,000 sim racing drivers they now have as a part of their community over on SimGrid. Next Level Racing's been providing us with setups, wheel stands, all sorts of prizes, chairs, gaming chairs, over the last 12 seasons. So big thanks to them. Vespertine, who of course support our merchandise. You can go get yourself a One Hub cap, One Hub t-shirt. Some of which are prizes for this season, Colin. Pure Sim Gear, who of course do sim racing socks and sim racing gloves. So if you feel you want to enhance your performance, maybe gain a 10th or two, head over to check them out. And you can maybe purchase yourself something. Colin, here we are in Hungary, round 3. We were saying earlier that both race winners so far this season have also had a DNF.
Yeah, surprising, isn't it? So it's quite interesting that so Quinn is currently leading away the championship on 24 points. So he had a third in round 2 and third in round 1 and a 5th in round 2. But like you said, yeah, so Spencer Brown and Cowboy have both had a victory each, and for differing reasons, both of them had a DNF as well. So it's really, really interesting, the championship at the minute. So we've got Giggle taking the lead at the minute on 24 points. Spencer Brown in second on 21, Cowboy in third on 21, M125 fourth on 21, and Whopping Proverb fifth on 20. So it's still all to play for at the minute. We've only had 2 rounds, still 10 to go. Plus, we have obviously sprint races involved as well. So only Shelby, Dr. Mew, and Rageman are yet to get any points this season. So let's hope that Dr. Mew, I know, is missing tonight's race. Let's hope Shelby and Rageman can get in the top 12 and get a point.
I pointed this out last week. Watch the tyres on Jamie's garage. If they change from red to a different colour, I'm sure that's then the tyre that Jamie will start on. I'm just going to jump over to the pre-race interviews, and the media asked the drivers, welcome to Hungary, a much different challenge than was presented to you last week, a lot more technically challenging track. How are we feeling going into this one? And Salu had an answer, which I thought quite interesting. This is a track I have a love-hate relationship with. Love the track layout, but it's not my strong suit. Very different from last time out. I'm feeling underconfident for this one. Cole, it's interesting that sometimes drivers like driving a track, but they just don't have the pace, and sometimes vice versa as well.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, with Hungary, I'd put myself in that category. I love racing this track. I think it's great fun, very challenging. Like you said, Nick, it's like a go-kart track. But it's probably one of my weaker circuits, I would say. But yeah, I think, especially, what a difference, in track from last week. Last week we had the lowest downforce setting we're going to get around Monza, and then here to Hungary, one of, alongside Monaco, the highest downforce. So it's going to be interesting to see which drivers are going to cope with the higher downforce compared to the low. It is, it is different. And I'm just looking at Jamie's tyres here, Nick. I don't know whether he's going to like us talking about this.
They've changed to white, haven't they?
They've changed to white. Well, that does surprise me.
Yeah, I wonder how many drivers will... the softs, we know from practice, Cole, that they're rubbish in the race. They last about 3 laps and then they just drop off the cliff. Whereas the mediums are good, the hards are good. So expect to see most drivers using those compounded tyres the majority of the time. But interestingly, whether anyone will start on the hards, look like Jamie's going to, but will he suffer for the first couple of laps against those medium and perhaps even soft runners?
That's the thing. I very much doubt we'll see anyone on the softs at the start. They're about as useful as an Astro on a motorbike round here. They last, less than a handful of laps, really. And here we go. Lights are coming on for the formation lap. So now the drivers are going to make sure now that they get their tyre temps in a sensible condition.
So we can see, wow, Cole, so every driver other than Quinn has started on the soft compound, on the medium compound. Quinn's the only driver to start on the soft compound of tyres. So really interesting of Quinn. Expect to see him come through the field, particularly those first 3 laps. He's going to be absolutely flying. And then be interesting to see where the drivers, what they do on their next stop.
Yeah, well, I'm actually more surprised at Skrillex and Cowboy, because I think if I was in their position, I would have put soft tyres on. At the start, now I know I said they were useless, but you're going to get that extra grip at the start, so maybe you could gain a couple of places. Box a little early, but you'll have clear air, and then absolutely gun it and try and get an undercut. I'm very surprised that we've only got one driver taking a little bit of a punt with the soft tyres.
Yeah, also, as well down the back, alternate strategy could have been just to go long on those hards. But but as you said, the undercut's worth so much here. A couple of gaps in this formation. Lawrence doing quite a quick formation lap here. There's a couple of gaps further down the field, so he'll be trying to close that gap up before he takes his grid slot. Of course, formation lap back for this season after he didn't run it last season. Spencer gets DSQ, so I think he's just overshot his box slightly. I think all the drivers who appear DSQ overshoot their box. But you can see Cowboy line up on the back of the grid there, and then we will shortly be waiting for the 5 red lights. Here we go. We've got a rubbish view of it, but we're looking from the back of the field as the 5 red lights are on. It's a long hold and they're out. Away we go. Lawrence is flooring it in first gear. Keep an eye on Quinn on those soft compounded tyres. He's already gained a position, so Lawrence gets away well. Funky keeps second position. No changes there as Spencer's coming down the inside. Is he going to be able to? Yeah, gives plenty of room to JR Mason. So those two going to go side by side. And there's a contact in the back of the field there. There's a McLaren off, a Haas, a Williams, and a Sauber. Yellow flags, no sign of a safety car just yet.
Well, that's a disastrous start so Matthias, Salo, and Ghost have all got front wing damage. So they're going to have to box at the end of this lap to change their front wing. So that's their strategy. Really now very difficult. If they've gone for the medium, they're going to find it very difficult to stretch that medium and hard out for the end of the race. But looking at the front, Lawrence just about with a half a second lead. Spencer Brown attacking Jamie. Doesn't quite make it. Mason, good start for Mason there. Nice respectful drive in there between Mason and Spencer. Hard fought position there, but nice respect between the two drivers there.
Expect the 4 drivers at the back of the field to come into the pits. Spencer on the back of Jamie. Doesn't look like he's able to be making inroads. I mentioned earlier on that your exit onto the straight, as you're going to see Shelby try and go down the inside of Jess here, isn't able to make the move on that overtake. Is he going to go down the inside to turn 2? Absolutely floors it and sends it. Jess looks like they did have contact. But the other Mercedes is trying to go around the outside of Jess. So Jess losing 2 positions. Is he going to come under the attack from the Ferrari? Cowboy, you remember, started in last place. So he is now up to 9th position. You can see he's gained 7. Shelby's gained 7. What about Quinn? How he lost a position. So those soft tyres not working out for him at the moment. Not sure if he was, he must have been the Sauber involved in that first corner incident. But you can see some of the drivers down the back having lost a few positions. Lawrence gets that gap over 1 second as Spencer is trying to go down the inside of Jamie. Jamie holding it around the outside. Little bit of contact there. Sometimes expected through that corner. But Spencer really hurrying Jamie at this early stage in the race.
Yeah, he is. He's really trying to make up for not the greatest of qualifying laps from him. Deciding to go for the inters. Don't forget, we got DRS open as he dives down the inside into turn 1. Jamie leaves in good room.
Jamie goes a little bit wide, but
is he going to try? Oh, I thought he was going to have a look down the inside there, Jamie, but he just about Spencer keeps the move, and he's now going to try and chase after Funky.
Yep, Jamie holding on, of course. I think Jamie had a bit of a rear slide on the exit of turn 1 there, so that hampered him as M125 all over the back of John. It's difficult to get a move done here into the chicane as Funky gets the gap down back under a second. Try and say that 5 times fast. Skrillex, who felt confident heading into this one, according to his pre-race interview, taking a nice line through these sweeping corners here on the back of Jess, who seems to be struggling in these opening laps a little bit. The other Ferrari Cowboy now all over the back of Shelby. I say that as he has a moment, but plenty of gaps as 1.2 seconds now, so Funky must have made a mistake.
Yeah, I think he did, because he's got Spencer Brown all over him now. Lawrence, he's doing exactly what he needs to do. He's broken DRS. I'm just going to have a look. Let's have a look to see what his... yeah, he's got about... So he's got 60% ERS, so he hasn't...
Oh, someone's around. Spencer's round. No damage, keeps it out the wall. I'm not sure, was that involving another car? Or was that just getting too early on the traction? I missed it. He overtook Funky, I believe, into turn 1. I saw his name into second. And then was there contact? So Spencer back down to 7th position now in the Williams. And Jamie up to second. 2 seconds behind Lawrence, though.
Yeah, I think there must have been a bit of contact there. Unfortunately, I didn't catch it. I think it must have been contact between Funky and Spencer. You know, we saw them only a couple of tenths away from each other. I don't know whether maybe Spencer outbraked himself a little bit, but that's really hurt him at the minute now. He's down in 7th place. Jamie up into 2nd place. I think he'd be delighted with this at the minute. Now, I'm just going to have a little look down the grid just to see. So M125 is in a very good position at the minute. He's right on Mason, but he's got best part of all his ERS left. He's got 97% of it left. So he's sitting in a very, very nice position here because the drivers ahead have not got much ERS left. As he going trying it down the inside of Mason.
Always giving each other room.
It's good racing between the Aston Martin and the Ferrari. Mason now on the inside. M125 trying around the outside. That'll be brave.
Pushes him onto the grass, gives him a little squeeze and says, not coming around my outside, sunshine. I'm too old and wise for that one. As you're seeing Cowboy now going down the inside. Shelby tries to hold it, but gives up the position. I imagine the game would have given him a little warning there. Spencer did get ahead of Proverb on into turn 1 as well. He was quite far back as they started, so he dumped a bit of theirs down less than 50%. Lawrence, though, absolutely commanding this race at the moment. Funky on the back of Jamie here. Did Jamie make a mistake as we're heading towards, so just started the final sector, heading towards the main straight again? That's where you will see the majority of your passing. Just like to remind the drivers who were involved in that lap 1 incident are down the back, all on hard compound of tyres. None within DRS though.
No, they're all pretty spread out of the back of the grid there. But of course, this, you know, they're not going to get much of an undercut. Because
Funky.
obviously they pitted so early.
Down the
Funky,
inside.
yes, passes Jamie.
I have to say, I'm very impressed with these drivers giving each other room into turn 1. The driver who's on the outside isn't being forced off track. So really respectful driving from this P2 tier at the moment. Perhaps these two are just going to use a little bit of DRS chicken to not lose too much time. But Lawrence is opening up that gap. And M125 now under 2/10 of a second behind JR Mason, who's just got the gap open to 1.4, 1.5 from the cars in front. So we should have closed that to help get DRS to defend from the Ferrari now.
Yeah, he's also got, M125 has also got Spencer Brown all over him. Spencer Brown, you can see how hard he's pushing, you know, he's sliding coming out of the corners. He's going to try, he's got left, he goes right. Is he going to try around the outside? That's going to be brave. So into penultimate corner, this is where it's going to get difficult because it's going to be a DRS train. Mason could find himself losing multiple positions.
He pits. Here. Mason's in the pits.
In the pits. Do you know what? I think that's actually a very wise decision because all he was doing was, I think he knew that he was going to get a little bit mugged down that back straight and has decided to box and get rid of these tyres. So what tyres is he going to go on? Yeah, he's going to go on the hard compounder tyre. Seems a relatively good stop there. He's going to come out. I think he's going to come out ahead of Matthias. So he's going to come out in some nice clear air as well.
Oh, his Rageman's retired from the race. Safety car. So JR Mason's going to be furious. I don't know if he will lose that. I don't know if he will lose that many positions, Cole, because yeah, I guess they're all going to stop under the safety car, aren't they? But they're going to have a delta, aren't they?
They're going to have a delta, so it's going to be difficult. I'm not sure how this will play out. It might not. The only problem is, obviously, Mason would have had an undercut. He ain't going to get that now. Let's see how this works out, because they're all going to be in a delta. I would have thought now that the top 11 will box.
Yeah, and some of the some of the drivers might have to double stack, like the Ferraris and the Mercedes, depending. So Lawrence is coming in to the pits as you'd expect. Keep an eye who else is going to come in. If you selected the harder strategy, by the way, 2 hards to the end of the race from now is going to be absolutely perfect for you. But some might have selected balance, which means they won't have 2 sets of hard tyres. So look at that, the top 9, top 10, just waiting to see what Quinn does. And yeah, he's in the pits as well. So where is J.R. Mason? So he's got a Delta. So where is he going to come out? He was in 5th, I think, Cole, before the stops.
4th, I think.
4th, okay, so...
5th or 4th, somewhere, yeah, 5th or 4th. So let's see where he's going to come out now. He's got quite a big delta down the main straight.
He's going to lose, I think, Colt. This is going to cost him. Yep, top 6 are already out. He'll be cursing. He'll get ahead of the Mercedes, so he will have lost 5 positions.
5 positions. That's desperately unlucky from Mason there. Nothing he could have done, really. I think he timed his pit stop to perfection.
As you said, Cole, he might have lost 4 by not having DRS down that main straight anyway, let alone being involved in maybe an incident.
To be honest. So I think the decision to box was right. As Cowboy goes on soft runs, Spencer on the mediums. So Spencer's obviously decided he's going to do medium, hard.
Yeah, interesting decision there.
Surprised Cowboy's gone on the soft tyres now. This is brilliant. I really don't know how this is going to play out now.
Yeah, a mixture of strategies. A lot of the drivers, of course, on those hard compound tyres. And just want to mention that obviously Matthias, Salou and Ghost, who suffered in that early incident, are now joined to the back of the field. None of them deciding to make a second stop, so they're hopping on their hard tyres that they were on after pitting on lap 1. But yeah, Spencer in 5th on those medium compound tyres. He's going to be rapid for the first 4 or 5 laps. And then also you've got Cowboy, so he'll be looking to make up some positions. And we're seeing anyone coming in. There's a Ferrari coming in, so Cowboy's going to do his 2 stops here, Colt. He's going to get his 2 stops out the way and try and go to the end of the race.
Well, that's going to be difficult, isn't it?
We'll have to do, what, 25 laps on...
26, yeah, 25 probably with a safety car. 24 laps on a set of hard tyres. Good luck to you. So, Cowboy now will be praying for no more safety cars. He can't, if he has another safety car now, it's going to be very difficult for him. I'm just looking at Mason in 8th place. I thought he came out of the pits in 9th, so I'm a bit confused. Oh, of course, yeah, sorry,
Cowboy's pitted.
Cowboy. Yeah, of course, yeah. So Spencer Brown now is the only driver not on a hard compound set of tyres. He's on a medium.
Yeah, it'd just be interesting to see. I mean, safety car, I imagine, will come in this lap providing Cowboy catches up. Just whether it would have been interesting for any of those drivers to maybe try the same strategy as Cowboy, the ones at the back of the field. Because they wouldn't have lost anything. They're going to have to stop again anyway. So it might have been better for them just to try and do that strategy. As I said, if they've got another set of hards, maybe use them, because they're going to have to stop again anyway.
Yeah, they will, almost certainly. Yeah, because they've already done 1 pit stop, haven't they? So they're going to have to stop again anyway. Yeah, I think, do you know what, if there's no further safety cars here, this could be a blinder from Ghost. And the safety car is coming in this lap.
From Cowboy, I think, you mean? Blinder from Cowboy.
Sorry, Cowboy, yes.
So he's the only driver to complete the mandatory 2 stops. And hopefully, Lawrence will leave a bigger gap to the safety car than we saw at the restart last week. Caused a bit of carnage. So he's going wide here, just biding his time. Safety car's in the pit, so he can go whenever he wants now. And he's gone. He's gone. So gets the jump on Funky by almost a second. Spencer 7/10 as well. JR Mason 8/10. So those drivers weren't switched on and ready to rock and roll. I don't think you'll see any moves into turn 1 here. Saying that.
No, they're all quite spread out, actually.
Shelby thought about it.
He did think about it. Salo passes Matthias at the back of the field in 12th and 13th.
Ghost does as well.
Yeah, Ghost's up to 13th. But Spencer really, you know, on these mediums, he's really got to have to start making some ground now. You know, he's got M125 ahead of him. But of course, everyone's going to have DRS ahead of him, so it's going to be very difficult for him to overtake.
Shelby was pushing JR Mason through that right-hander there before this chicane, but then has a mistake, and Quinn says thank you very much. Quinn goes right to the curb and pushes him off track. Says no chance of you trying to duck back down the inside of the next one. And now Shelby going from the attacker to the defender. You can see the gap between Spencer and M125. Here we go as we're heading, no DRS of course until lap 2 after the safety car, so we want the DRS down this straight or the mini straight, and look at the extra grip that Spencer's able to carry through that final corner. Lawrence has got away.
Yeah, look at the lead that Lawrence has got. I mean, he's driving so well at the minute. Unfortunately, he did lose last week's victory. He did get a 10-second time penalty. I think it was 10.
Yeah, I think it was 10.
For causing M125 to spin into the turn 1 at Monza. Not a reckless move, but just a misjudgment under braking. That unfortunately cost him the race victory. But he's really put himself in a fantastic position now. And I think Jamie's going to be under threat very soon, I think.
Well, Jamie needs to get past Funky, yeah, because Funky seems to be causing this train, and this is helping Lawrence get away. So Funky not having... Oh, and Spencer gets... Well, I don't like touching that inside curb at the best of times. So Spencer's going to go down the inside of M125. M125 is going to try and hold around the outside. He does. He's going to have the inside for the next corner. Well, this is mediums, V hard. Spencer's got so much grip, but he's getting on that throttle so early sometimes. He's going to absolutely try and cane it as Lawrence sets the fastest lap of the race so far, 17.9. But of course, all these drivers have DRS.
Yeah, so is Spencer close enough to have a... He's going to have a go. He's going to have a go down the inside.
Gave each other room.
Leaves a little bit of room. That's good driving. Very good driving by both drivers there. That was M125 left a little bit of room for him, so he wouldn't take him out basically. But he's really attacking hard now. But look at Proverb now up in the action. He wants to join the party now.
These gaps are very small, some of them. Spencer's pushing M125 around the track here in Budapest. Fantastic track, this Hungaroring. On those beaten compounder tyres, it's just showing you the extra grip doesn't always mean you can get the job done. Is he going to send it here into this corner again? It didn't help him last time. No, thinks better of it. He's got to just nail that final sector and just dump his errs. He's got to absolutely dump it.
Yeah, he's got 60% left. M125 actually has more. M125's in the late 80s. So Spencer really is attacking hard now. Oh, he's got a really good run out of that last corner as Lawrence sets another fastest lap.
Is Jamie going to send it? He does. Jamie sends it down the inside. He goes deep though. Manages to keep second place, but he's under attack.
What driving that is. Yeah, Jamie, he really went for it. It was quite a late move. And just run wide on the exit and has put himself, he's a little bit compromised now. He'll still be within DRS of Funky for the next lap. But you're right, Nick, Funky really is the cork in the bottle at the minute.
Shelby going off wide there, so you've got this battle going on for second place, and then JL Mason's got a gap of 2.7, so he's leading the next train. Doing a good job at defending, it has to be said. Funky and JL Mason doing a pretty good job of keeping the train behind them. But you can see, just pushing each other through this middle section, Colin. There is nowhere to pass in Sector 2.
No, there isn't. Spencer Brown, he's trying this way and that way. Do you know what? This reminds me of Nigel Mansell and Ayrton Senna around Monaco in 1992, where, you know, Spencer clearly has the quicker car at the minute due to his tyre advantage.
Jamie's going to get him here. He's got a brilliant run. at the start of the stream, didn't I, Cole, that the run out of the last corner is more important than your DRS and your ERS.
That's right.
Jamie's got the job done. Funky loses a position. Is he going to lose more than one? And 125 was defending. Now he's attacking. Isn't able to get past Funky. So Jamie's going to try and pull away a little bit here. But yeah, no other position changes. I don't think down JL Mason also managing to hold on to 7th position without DRS at the moment.
Yes, well, I think we missed it, but Mason was behind Skrillex, so he did manage to overtake Skrillex. He's not really catching Proverb, but he is just about, he's not far, he's only a couple of tenths away from breaking Skrillex DRS, so that'll be crucial for Mason there. Spencer Brown, now he's done 6 laps on those medium tyres. They are not, oh! I try to work out how he didn't lose it there. A huge moment from Spencer there. I thought he was going to go in the wall. I think his mediums are dead. I really think they're in trouble. Is he going to box?
No, he stays out. He's just within DRS, but it looks like M125's now going to be getting the jump on Funky. Funky will have the DRS to defend, but it looks like M125. His teammate, by the way, of Cowboy, is up to 11th place. Remember, he's done his mandatory 2-stop. M125 gets the car slowed down, gives Funky room, which is great to see on the exit there. And you're seeing Quinn and Shelby change positions, so Quinn, Shelby battling hard. Will we start to see any drivers getting frustrated here, Colin? As we're seeing Salute and Ghost battling. Salute's gone down the inside. Ghost looks like he's going to try and attack back, but I don't think he has the DRS. And Matthias just on the back of that battle as well. These guys are all separated by half a second here, so some close battling here in Hungary. This is why I love this track. Lawrence, meanwhile, at the front with a 4.3 second lead. Is anyone going to try and send it as they get frustrated, perhaps into the chicane?
Yes. Do you know what I was just about to say? And I think I jinxed poor old Shelby. I was just about to say no driver has had a 3-second time penalty yet. And then poor old Shelby gets one. But you know what? After 15 laps around this track, only one driver getting a penalty. I think it's pretty good going. Some really good, clean driving going on. But look at the battle from second down to 5th place, down to 6th place now, really, because you've got Proverb fighting. And look how close Spencer is behind Funky now.
Yep, and you're seeing M125 go into 2nd position, able to get the job done. Funky defends with that DRS from Spencer. So Spencer on those mediums, he hasn't made headway. Cole, he's massively frustrated. He's used those medium tyres and he hasn't been able to make any inroads on the hard compound runners. And Proverb's all over the back of them now as well. JL Mason getting half a second on this bunch, so he's perhaps looking after his tyres. Oh, there's contact there. There was contact between Spencer and Funky. Was that damage to the end plate of Spencer?
I don't think so.
Oh, and he's gone off!
It.
He broke too late there.
Yeah, he lost it. You could see it, lost it under braking. And he's down now. He's behind. He's down now into 9th place. I think he just keeps...
Oh, he's off again.
He's in the wall.
His tyres are too hot.
Yeah, his tyres are shot. Like you said, they're too hot. He's lost his front wing. He's going to have to box at the end of this lap. He's got no choice but to... now here come all the penalties. This is where, so we got Jess as well. Oh, Spencer, yeah, he's lost his front wing completely on the left-hand side, so he's going to be boxing. So he's going to, how long's he got? 18 laps to do on hard tyres.
It's doable, and he's got some pace. Will he get the car slowed down? Yes, so no penalty coming into pits. I still think he can salvage a top 10 here, and that's what you got to do if you want to fight for the championship. But that started with contact with Funky. Interestingly, Cowboy up into 10th position, and if we have a look, Cole, of the gap to the leader, so he's 14 seconds behind the lead, and we know the pit stop is about 21 seconds, so he does have a net 7-second lead at the moment, that the drivers are going to have to try and call back on him if he's able to make these tyres last.
Yes, this is going to be, it's a long old run, isn't it? It is, like you said, it is doable to do that amount of laps on the hard, but it's going to be very difficult for him towards the end. But like you said, yeah, regarding the championship, I've always said the same thing. You know, championships aren't won on great results. They are run on eliminating bad results. So Spencer now, he's got to just keep his head cool, you know, relax a little bit, and just focus now on pumping in some nice, good, clean laps. Yeah, he's making mistakes now. He's overdriving the car. He's really pushing too hard at the minute, especially on these hard tyres. I think he's better off. Oh, he's lost it again. Great catch that was, but he's overdriving the car. He's just pushing too hard, trying to claw back his original mistake.
I think I said earlier on that the way he was taking that fast right-hand corner, forgive me, I don't know the number, using loads of the curb, it can sometimes just cause the car can just spin into the inside barrier. By the way, this battle between Matthias and Ghost is absolutely incredible. They do 0.2 of a second for pretty much a whole lap.
Yeah, be keeping an eye on them, and they're really, really going at it. I don't think it's doing their race much good. They're probably better off just letting one guy take the lead and just follow them, really. But what a fantastic fight we got here. So, yeah, Matthias really trying to push hard. Oh, he's going to try going around the outside. Doesn't quite make it. This is a beautiful thing about this track. You know, it is possible to overtake, but it's not too easy either. You know, it is difficult. You have to pull off a really good move.
Here comes Shelby, very close as they exit the final corner. Has DRS on Skrillex, who doesn't. So the Alpine is going to defend. Yeah, brakes late, and Shelby isn't able to get the move done. Keeps it on the inside, gets good traction, but I feel like Skrillex is going to have enough here to hold on to the position. Cowboy just behind this battle, as well as Shelby has to turn out of a little bit there. And you're going to see Cowboy close up to within 0.2 of a second. But as soon as you enter this middle sector, Colin, you're pretty much committed to just following the car in front.
Yeah. Oh, he's gone. Oh, poor Shelby. He's out. He's out. He lost his wheel.
Safety car.
Safety car. It was the fast left-hander, the fast left-hander, the corner which Spencer was having problems with, and he just hit the curb on the exit, run a little bit wide, and lost it into the inside of the track, into the wall. Such a shame for Shelby.
Spencer, this is going to help, as well as Matthias, Ghost. So, Salu, Matthias and Ghost, this is going to work out pretty well for them. Everyone now, if you've got a hard set of tyre, you're going to see at the top, you're going to pit and come in and go to the end of the race. Could you make mediums last from this point on? Not too sure. M125 stays out. So he's stayed out. Everyone behind has pitted. You're going to see Cowboy also stay out. So it's going to be a potential Ferrari 1-2 at the moment. Unless he's able to know. So it's going to be a Ferrari...
What a move. Sorry, Nick. What a move that was. Mason was coming in the pit lane. I was on board with Quinn, and Quinn decides, do you know what, I think you're going too slow, and overtook Mason in the pit lane with a fantastic move. It was perfectly done. Unlike what Cashman managed in Monza last week. I think Mason would be a little bit disappointed he was asleep there. You are allowed to overtake in the pit lane, I believe, under safety car conditions, Nick. I think that's right.
Yes, I believe, as long as you stay within your positive delta. So, and unless, of course, the safety car comes through the pit lane, because there's too much debris on track to go down the normal start-finish straight. Just quickly, I can't believe how many drivers have gone on to the medium compounded tyres. That suggests to me...
I know, I mean, we saw... Sorry, Nick.
I was just going to say, it suggests that they've selected the balance strategy at the start when loading into the lobby, rather than the harder. Obviously, you can see Jamie on the harder, you can see Proverb, JR Mason, Jess... all gone for the hard. Spencer's gone for the soft compounded tyre, which is really strange, because if he just kept his hards on, he could have gone to the end of the race on those tyres that he only pitted for a lap ago. So not too sure on that strategy there. Those softs are going to last about 3 laps once his safety car comes in, and then they'll be rubbish. But in my opinion,
I think Spencer has done what Dad did in the last race, which was drive very well, but kind of forget about the strategy and not really thinking about it. Yeah,
unless
I'm baffled.
unless he's going
Unless he
to
had damage.
potentially, or he's going to box again and fit mediums. And what he's doing is he's doing less laps on the medium tire compared to the likes of Lawrence, Funky, Quinn, Skrillex, Selu, Matthias, because obviously he's gonna box. Could that be what he does? Let's see. Nope, he carries on. But of course, if he doesn't catch the field up, then the safety car will stay out for another lap. So it's a tactic we often see in racing. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Poor Lawrence, every time he gets a 5-second lead, the safety car comes out. But M125, interestingly that he didn't come in. He is obviously only on a lap older tyres than his teammate, but I don't think he's done 2 stops. Let's double check. So,
yeah, Cowboy's done 2 stops, but he's on 12 lap old hards. So he's still got another 14 laps to go on those hard tyres. That's going to be very difficult for him near the end. I don't understand why M125 has stayed out, unless he simply thinks that his strategy on the mediums, he wouldn't make it.
Surely you would have just boxed and done what potentially some of the other medium runners are going to do, medium and then soft.
Yeah, that's what I think you and I would have done in that situation, I think. But obviously, you know, it's fair. I think we forget sometimes, you know, we're sitting here saying, I can't believe you did that. But of course, it's so different. You know, you're concentrating on driving, you know, and sometimes, you know, your brain power's being used so much to concentrate on driving, you kind of forget about the strategy. But the safety car is in this lap.
You can see it flashing in the top left-hand corner of your screen there. So M125 is going to be the one to take us away. What I'm really interested to see is those medium runners of Lawrence, Funky, Quinn, Skrillex, Selu, Matthias, Ghost. Are they going to? And M125 hasn't gone yet. Now he has. But I'll tell you what, look at the run that Lawrence has got on those medium compounds.
It's an astonishing run. Look at that, and he's got him already. What a restart from Lawrence. That, I've got to be honest, is one of the best restarts I've ever seen from a driver in P2. He really did nail that. So the 2 Ferraris now in second and third. We know M125 is yet to box. So this is putting Lawrence in a great position. But like you said, Nick, you know, these medium tyres are vulnerable. We saw with Spencer Brown after around lap 8, he was really struggling. So are these drivers are they gonna get, you know, I know we've got a little bit of less fuel on board now, so that will extend them a little bit, but it's going to be very, very difficult for them.
To me, Jamie is sitting in prime position here. I'm certain, Cole, that you won't be able to take those medium compound tyres to the end of the race. If you do, they are going to be struggling so much. There's no way, as you're seeing Spencer here, come down the inside, and he taps the Haas, the Haas recovers. But yeah, he's lost. He's a bit impatient, isn't he?
Yeah, he's trying to. This is where, you know, it's so easy when you make a mistake to then go and make a load more by overdriving, and I think this is what Spencer's doing now. He's kind of forcing it. Yeah, look, he's losing it under braking. He's really got to try and calm himself just a little bit and get himself back in the zone. I know he's trying to fight, but of course he is on the soft tyres, so he has got to make ground up, or he's not really going to get any points this evening.
Yeah, most definitely. He's trying to go around the outside on the curb. He's lost it again. He's just lost. He's lost his head here. Is he going to get going again, or is he going to retire on track? Yellow flags, of course, he's retired on track, so he will be referred to the stewards for that. Frustration got the better of him. Lawrence, though, opened up a 2-second lead already, as you'd expect on those new medium compounded tyres.
Yes, now will that bring out another safety car? That's the question.
Nope.
No.
Yellow flags are gone.
No safety car for Spencer Brown. But yes, the stewards might take a dim view of retiring on track. It is specifically stated in the steward's notes not to do that. We'll have to see what the stewards think about that afterwards, as there's quite a few moves going on. So Funky now has passed Cowboy to get into the podium positions.
Yep, Jamie lost 2 positions there. Was in 3rd place, I think. So I think he's lost 2 positions, unless I was wrong. Interesting. It's really interesting. I can't wait to see how this works out between the medium compound runners and the hard compound runners. The hards, those who are on 4-lap-old hards, will definitely go to the end of the race. We're pretty certain of that, Colt.
I'm almost certain, yeah. I'm pretty certain they'll make it. Mediums, nah, not so sure. So like you said, do you know what? Jamie is sitting in a fantastic position here. He really is. He's just got to... Oh, is he such a risky move around the outside there. He's got Quinn all over him now.
There's contact. Gerald Mason's out of the race.
Mason is out of the race.
There was contact with another car. I don't know if it was Quinn. Quinn was close to Jamie. There was definitely contact with another car. Safety car is out again. Spencer's left the session. So M125 dives into the pit. Cowboy stays out. So, interestingly, this is going to help these medium runners, Cole, get to the end of the race.
I think it will, you know. I think it will. Yeah, now what are they going to do? 10 laps to go. Softs won't make it. Or will they? You know, they are going to have a few laps under the safety car, aren't you?
I don't think they'll make it to the... I think from this point on, it'd be quicker to run hards or mediums rather than the soft compounded tyres, if I'm being totally honest, over the 10 laps you got left.
Mason is absolutely fuming. Apparently he got absolutely punted in the back by Salo and went straight into the tyre wall, losing his front wing. Not a happy boy.
No, was in a good position there. Was Gerald Mason. Unfortunately, that's just, you know, these things can happen, you know. These F1 cars aren't built to, you know, withstand some of the impact that they receive. But we'll have to, you know, before we pass judgment, check both onboards and see who was at fault. But I imagine it'll end up in the steward's office, and you'll get to have a good look at it, Cole. But let's run through just to confirm that everyone has 2 stops. You can see there. So everyone has 2 stops. Salu has done 3 stops. So I imagine every tyre, everyone, whatever tyre they're on, they're going to the end of the race. Cowboy, I probably would have stopped if that was me.
I think so as well. Yeah. This has saved M125's race as well. He really is getting the fortunate side of the safety cars. The last 2 races, really. But he is down in 11th, so he's still, you know, he's still got a lot of work to do. But those mediums that he's on, I'm almost certain will last. But, you know, Lawrence, even with this safety car, it's going to still be very difficult for them.
Yeah, after about 8 laps, they really do start to be tricky. Although I haven't run them at the end of the race on low fuel, so it will be slightly easier. I think they're going to be okay now. It's just a case of whether Jamie and Proverb, I think Jess is a little bit too far back, but whether Jamie and Proverb can steal the show here in the last couple of laps. But as we've seen, it's not the easiest to overtake. If you nail that final corner, you've got a bit of urge, you dump it down the straight, you can defend quite easily. So expect the safety car to come in this lap. What I find interesting about the safety car as of recently, on more so this game than any other, I do feel it only comes out when it would have come out in real life. I feel they've got it quite accurate in terms of when to deploy it, when to deploy a VSC compared to some of the earlier games.
That's right, definitely. We haven't had any, you know, the safety cars come out in what you'd expect it to in real life for big accidents. It was nice to see that it didn't come out when Spencer retired on track, because technically it was in a safe place. He could have been pushed off in real life. Yeah, I think it's working as it should regarding when it comes out. So I think a couple of times on the last game it was coming out a little bit too frequently for minor incidents, but to be honest, the incidents we've had here, they have not been minor, have they?
No, they've been race ending. And Lawrence, look at this. He's nailed it again. He's got 7/10 already as he exits the final corner. So his last safety car restart he nailed. This one he's done the same. So it shows you a bit of experience maybe from Lawrence, a former champion. Of course, Funky, also a former champion. Jamie, a former champion as well. So a few of them down the field. M125 and 11th. We've got a few champions racing here today. Ghost on the back of Matthias. These two have been glued together all race, bless them.
Jamie trying to go around the outside of turn 3. What a move! What a move that is! That is absolutely world class. Jamie, take a bow. What a move that was. Puts him up. Do you know what? That move there could have handed him the race win.
Here comes the Mercedes down the inside into the chicane. Fair play to Proverb. Gives Cowboy plenty of room, but Cowboy does have a moment still, so his race now going from bad to worse. We said, will those hards go to the end? The answer is he's going to struggle. His teammate goes through as well. Could that be the race-winning move that Jamie needed to complete earlier on? Quinn all over the back of Skrillex, by the way. So down to 12 runners. We lost 4 of them. Jess at the back of the field, I think she'll be disappointed with how her race has gone so far today, but can she scrape inside the top 10? Anyone that finishes from here, of course, will score a point. Will we see anyone outside the top 10 pick to get an extra point for the fastest lap? And you can see Quinn all over the back of Skrillex here, but is he going to send a move down the inside into turn 1? He makes an early indication, sends it late, they bang wheels. But the Alpine able to carry more speed around the outside. No DRS yet, of course.
No DRS yet. I'm just staring at the timing screen at the minute, seeing if Jamie is making any ground on Funky and Lawrence. Is staying about the same distance, but of course there's still 7 laps to go. Skrillex now, he's out of DRS to Proverb. So Proverb's in a good position. Proverb right on the back now of Jamie. And this is, I genuinely believe that the fight between Jamie and Proverb could be the fight for the race win here. Jamie is slowly catching Funky up.
Look at Matthias. He was down the back of the field for the first time since the opening lap. He isn't near Ghost. But look at him up into 7th position at the moment. 8 lap old. Oh, as I say that, I completely commentator cursed him. He brakes way too late, hits the back of Quinn, and loses an end plate. Will Quinn have damage on the rear of that car? Remains to be seen, but you can see Jamie just opening up the gap a little bit on Proverb and closing it on the top 2. I believe that after about 10 laps on these mediums, you will see the hard tyres as M125 looking to recover well on these medium compounded tyres as well, but they're the freshest of anyone's.
Yeah, he's making really good ground at the minute. He's up now into 6th place. Is he going to try going around the outside? Little bit of contact. Oh, that was quite naughty from M125 there. Really did drive both of them off. And he's off track again. M125 being very, very aggressive. Matthias, I can only apologise for my commentary partner for doing probably the biggest commentary curse of the season so far. But you know what? He's even with his front wing missing, he's still driving with quite a bit of pace. To be fair,
the gap is closed between Jamie and Prover, so Jamie's dropped off a little bit. But Funky, interestingly, is keeping Lawrence honest. Is Lawrence trying to just bide outside that second rather than pull away and make these tyres last? I also had a slightly different view on that incident with Quinn and M125. I felt that Quinn kind of squeezed M125 to the inside curb as they went round there. And then M125 returned the favour, but obviously let's watch the onboards again. I'm sure.
Yeah, you could be right. I had a bit of a weird camera view around there, so I only saw the second bit really. I had the weird inboard camera view for me, so it was a bit difficult to judge, to be fair. But do you know, I can't believe how Matthias is still. You know, the pace he's got actually with this broken front wing is quite brilliant actually. Still in 9th place. I think he knows if he boxes that, you know, he's guaranteed 12th really.
He might be better going for the fastest lap. Jess obviously at the back of the field as well, so she's missing an end plate on her front wing, so she's had damage flew all over the back on the tyres on those fresher medium compounded tyres under the completely front wing intact. Ghost now coming to join the party. 7/10 of a second. All yellow flags. What's happened? Who's had an incident? Cowboy.
Cowboy spun. Yeah, Cowboy spun. 21 lap old hard, and he's damaged his front wing. So what I would do now if I was Cowboy, I would box now for soft tyres. Try and go for the fastest lap in the bottom 10. So we'll get 2 points instead of just the 1 for 12th place. As M125 sets the fastest lap of the race. He's right on the back of Jamie and Proverb here.
And Proverb has a moment there. Jamie then follows him with a moment, gets himself a 3-second time penalty. That's going to cost him, and he lets M125 through. So that was an interesting decision there. But at the moment, 4 laps to go. A lot can change in 4 laps. When these medium tyres drop off, Cole, they really drop off.
Oh, they do. They'll go off almost like a cliff. Now there's 4 laps to go. I don't think M125's tyres are going to... Well, they might do with a couple of laps to go. But the pace he's got in that car at the minute is astonishing. He is all over Proverb. Is there enough time left for him to catch Lawrence and Funky and pass Proverb? I don't think there is, but it's all going to depend now on the tyre life of Lawrence and Funky's 11 lap old medium tyres. They are definitely going to be second hand at this stage.
Yep, definitely 11 laps. Obviously I think they've done 4 or 5 of those laps behind the safety car, so that will help the wear a little bit. You might see a pass here. Oh, Ghost almost spins it on the inside. Rather than trying to gain a position, he just lost a position to Salou, who's on the freshest, alongside M125, freshest medium compounded tyres. Matthias hanging on to 10th place there. And you're seeing M125, sorry we missed it, get the position on the Mercedes man of Proverb. He does have DRS and the inside line, so expect Proverb to give up that one. And now he's going to chase after Funky and Lawrence. He could win this race, Cole, here with this sort of pace.
He could well do, but you know, this late safety car, doesn't it prove how silly Spencer Brown was? You know, we know he's got the pace in this race. If he simply came back into the pit lane, you know, we knew there was a later safety car. He could be in prime position now. You know, he could have been up with M125. So this is where, you know, a lesson to all drivers: never ever give up, because it's never over. You know, until that checkered flag is out.
M125, 7/10 or so, so within the DRS now of second place. Funky's had a great race, by the way. He's always been up there in those podium positions, and defended very well, it has to be said, even when he's been passed, as M125 has a bit of a slide there. The gap currently to the lead for second place is 2.5 seconds, just eking up, but I don't think M125 is going to be able to get the job done here.
Here he goes. I think you're right. He's not quite close enough. He really needed to make that move this lap, really, to be able to challenge Lawrence. But Funky, you're right, Nick. He's had an absolute superb race. And he's always very, very, very nice and polite in all the chats as well. You know, if he's ever brought into the stewards, he's always, you know, very polite to the admin team. He's a delight to have in the league. And he is driving out of his skin at the minute. He's going to have to do a lot of defending to keep M125 behind him, though.
Great battle between Quinn, Salou and Ghost. Fair play to Salou and Ghost, giving each other plenty of room round the outside of turn 2, turn 3. Ghost looks to be struggling a little bit on these 13-lap old mediums now. Well, we see the top 2 start to struggle as well. M125 isn't exactly pushing Funky round, but as we approach the final couple of laps, it looks like Lawrence has got this in the bag, providing he doesn't lose it on penalties. He will look like to take his first win. Quinn going to try to go around the inside of the penultimate corner, just given enough room there.
Look at Proverb, he is all over the back of M125. Yeah, M125 actually had to defend into turn 1, not attack M125. Sorry, not attack Funky. Funky, he really is a cork in the bottle here. I think Funky's tyres are starting to go, but he is actually catching Lawrence.
Quinn's lost it.
Quinn's out.
I'll see if I can figure out on the outside of turn 1, so he's lost it there somehow. So Cowboy's going to gain another position, but I think Lawrence has won this race, providing he doesn't get a puncture or anything substantial like that. Gap now 2.5 seconds. Funky's just concentrating. Can he keep that second place? Can he even keep the podium? Jamie, that penalty, he's just trying to make sure the gap to the car behind is enough so that he doesn't lose a top 5 position.
Oh, Funky goes wide. Just about stays in front of M125, but look how close he is now. Funky's been very clever with his ERS management this race. He's still got 50% left. M125 does have 70% left. Oh, look how close M125 is. Surely he's close enough for a move. Funky defends right on the inside, forcing M125 to go around the outside. He's going to try it. It's a very difficult move. Great respect by the two drivers there. Look at that. Lovely, clean racing.
Proverb take advantage.
Funky tries hanging around the outside.
Oh!
M125 loses it.
Loses a bit of front. No, the Mercedes. That was Mercedes lost a bit of. I don't know what M25 happened to him there. He had the move done, I thought. As you mentioned, fair play to both of them for on the outside. We will switch to Lawrence as he crosses the line, but fair play to the two, Funky and M125, giving each other plenty of room. The Mercedes man just getting caught up and losing a bit of M plate. Will Jamie be able to attack there? He will lose it on penalties, of course. But this has all helped Lawrence, meanwhile. 3.7 seconds. Colin and I doubted whether these tyres would go to the end. That second safety car, 3 laps behind, the third safety car, 3 laps behind, definitely helped him. But here we go. Proverb all over the back of that Ferrari. But Lawrence is going to come across the line for the second week in a row to take the checkered flag. He lost it last week on penalties. I don't think he will this week. He crosses the line to make 3 winners out of 3. And Funky is going to cross the line to take a brilliant second position. M125 takes third. Proverb takes 4th position. Look how close those boys finished. Jamie takes 5th. And Skrillex takes 6th. You're going to see Matthias recover with that wing damage into 7th place. Shocked that him and Ghost both crossed the line next to each other. Didn't see that one coming. Feel the sarcasm. Ghost in 8th. Salou recovers to 9th. It'll be interesting to see his and JR Mason's reaction to what we believe was JR Mason's race-ending incident. Just finishes in 10th place on 16 lap hold high, and Cowboy is going to cross the line to take 11th place. Has he set the fastest lap? I'm not too sure.
What a race that was. That really had everything. What a measured, great drive by Lawrence there. He's now really put himself in this championship hunt now. He really has. State the claim now. What a race that was. I think I'm going to steal the honours of doing the first Driver of the Day nomination. And for me, as brilliantly as Lawrence drove, I think I'm going to have to give it to Funky for defending for all those laps on those very, very worn medium tyres. Some great defending. So my question to you, Funky, is did you really think, with the two drivers close behind you, that you were going to lose your podium at any point? Did you really think you were able to keep them behind you?
Yeah, I was going to go for Funky as well. I think that's a brilliant result there. I don't know whether you want to quickly run through the order, Cole, before I do mine.
Yes, no worries. So we got Lawrence taking the victory. Then we got Funky in second, M125 in third place. Then Proverb, Jamie, Skrillex, Matthias, Ghost, Sallow, Jess in 10th, Cowboy and Quinn in 11th and 12th. Quinn retiring, of course, with 2 laps to go. And Mason and Spencer Brown also with a DNF, so with no points.
Yeah, I think a brilliant race. There are 3 safety cars, a few cars in the wall out of it. Salou straight away, by the way, apologising to JR Mason. So perhaps he's going to take blame on that incident. But I'm going to have to give it to Lawrence here, Cole. And my question to him is going to be a 2-part question. The first part is going to be, How frustrated were you when you built a 5 second lead and then the safety car came out twice to ruin it? And the second part of the question is going to be, did you always think those medium tyres were going to make it to the end of the race? And had that last safety car not come out, would you still have been confident?
Yeah, that's a good question actually, because I think he must, when that safety car came out, he must have been going, "You're winding me up. I've just got a big lead, and now I've got to do it all again." But it just shows, calm under pressure. It didn't seem to affect his driving at all, and drove a great race to take victory.
Yeah, definitely. Great racing out there. A lot of respect on the exit of turn one. It has to be said. I know there were some incidents, and unfortunately, I think there always will be. Yeah,
Especially around a track like Hungary, it's so difficult to overtake. Um, you've got fast corners leading into slow corners. It is the type of track that does tend to get more incidents than others as well.
all right.
But
Well,
I thought overall the driving was very, very good and clean, to be honest.
yeah, I think just the incidents were big because of the grass and the walls being close by. But ultimately, as you said, I think the racing was good. The stewards' office will open tomorrow, so the drivers can chuck their incidents in there, and the stewards will get tucked in to having a good look. But thank you everyone for watching this stream. Colin and I will be live in the P1 tier at 7 p.m. Quick pit stop for me to go get some food and a drink, Cole, and then we'll be back ready to race in the Mercedes. But thanks everyone for watching. That was a brilliant race. Well done to all the drivers who managed to finish, and particularly for Funky for that defending to finish P2. Final thoughts, Cole?
Yes, fantastic. Looking forward to next week now, which is going to be around Baku and is our first sprint weekend of the season.
Most definitely. So, thank you everyone. We will be back live at 7 p.m. on Twitch with the P1 tier. Thank you for racing all those drivers who showed up today, and thank you for viewing. We hope you enjoyed, and we shall see you next week.
Goodbye, all.